Hey guys!
Welcome back to RRH.
If you're new here, this is R.R.Hustler, which is Raw Reality of a Hustler. We are two best friends that travel around locally to interview people who have a business. The hope is that they share knowledge with the community of what it took to get to where they are, and at the same time help inspire people who are looking to do whether it's the same thing or just start their own business. And at the same time, of course, what the interview gets in return is some exposure. We want to help just build a community that supports locally. We are actually on our way, as you can see. We're in traffic. It's LA. We're on our way. I have a friend, and this is actually his cousin, and she does charcuterie, or if I'm saying it right, it's new to me, so I'm gonna be learning as we interview her. We're excited. We're gonna go meet, and we'll introduce them then.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of RRH.
Raw Reality of a Hustler.
I'm Donna.
And I'm Erica.
And this is Elizabeth. Hi Elizabeth.
Hi guys.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Gosh, about myself.
So
I know, right? I don't know if I want to say my age on camera, but I guess I will. I'm 31 years of age. I have two babies. Well, I still call my 12-year-old a baby, but I have a 12-year-old as well as my 2-year-old. I was born and raised in Orange County. I now live in Downey. And I love charcuterie.
Nice. And on the side, you're also a sales.
I am a regional sales executive. I sell uniform and facility services full time. So, yeah.
That's good. That's a good overview. The next question is a little interesting.
Okay.
So, how would you say others describe you as?
Okay.
Let's be honest here.
No, right?
They sound amazing.
Right?
They sound beautiful.
Right. I would say that most people would say I'm very passionate about what I do, whether it be passionate about my children, passionate about my business, my career. I like to really just give my everything to whatever it is that I'm doing. So I would say passionate, very persistent. I like to succeed, so I really I would say that I'm a go-getter, I guess you could say. Overall,
She's a hustler. That's why she's here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So charcuterie. That's how you say it, right? Charcuterie.
You know, it's so funny. I now have people asking me, well, how is it that you pronounce it? I remember the first time. I Googled, right? I knew what I was eating. I knew what it consisted of, but I was like, how to pronounce that thing that has the meats and the cheeses, and, you know? So it's charcuterie. Charcuterie. Yeah. And in Spanish, it's actually called charcuteria.
Charcuteria.
Charcuteria. So that's the name of my business, actually. That's how you pronounce it in Spanish.
All right. So what prompted you to get into this charcuterie business?
Well, when I first started my sales career in the fashion industry, I was invited by my sales director to get together with our team, and the point is that I visited her beautiful home in Encino, and I could tell that this woman knew how to eat, right? Like she quality stuff, and so she received us with a huge charcuterie board, and I remember putting a cracker together, trying to kind of figure it out, right? My mom had never introduced me to charcuterie. We're Hispanic, right? Like, I knew pozole, enchiladas, charcuterie, like, what is this? I want to say I was about 22 years of age. I had no idea what it was. So there was like a quince, and I was like, what's quince? This looks like jelly, right? But there was something special about this quince. So quince and prosciutto along with grapes, and I was like, holy smokes, like how could I have been depriving myself of this stuff for this many years? Like, how dare my mother? But yeah, so anyway, I'm very passionate about everything I do. So when I hosted my friends or family, I wanted to introduce them to this amazing stuff too. So ever since then, I love putting either grazing tables together or boards together. The point is that I love pairing wonderful meats, cheeses, fruits, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it
came about.
Yeah.
So what were the first steps that you had to take when you figured it out and you wanted to do this business?
Well, that was the first step, like actually saying, hey, I'm going to do this, right? It was something that I was very fond of doing, but I thought, okay, this is a business. And I told myself, because I've always known that I always knew that I was going to start a business, but I always said I'll never do food, right? Because food is difficult. The food industry is a lot of work, a lot of hours. It's very tiring, and food only has a specific shelf life, right?
Yeah.
So I thought wastage, my grandma would kill me, like, like no. But that's the first step, just taking that leap of faith and saying, hey, I'm going to do this. And know that there's no looking back, right? Nobody knows how to do it. You just do it, and you roll with the punches and you figure it out. I'm sure there's some of us are lucky to have friends or family that are very experienced and can kind of help and guide us. But really, you just got to fall on your face to figure it out, and just hope that when you fall on your face, it's not with a mad customer. So yeah.
Okay, well that kind of goes into our next question, which is describe what are some of your overhead costs. So I know just from previous conversations before we were rolling, you do it all at home. So of course you're not renting a space, but what other costs or even licensing costs can you tell us about that you've had to do?
With food, you want to make sure that you're certified to handle food. That's extremely important because food is very delicate and health is everyone's priority right now, especially. So it's not too expensive to get your food handling certificate. It's a couple $100, and then of course you need to get your license with the state, right? That's another couple $100. And as far as overhead costs, I mean, I take everything into account, right? My time is just as valuable as anyone else's, so that is an overhead cost for me. My time away from my children, away from my career, and the gas spent buying the product, making deliveries, all that good stuff goes into account.
For the licenses that you mentioned, the food handling in the state, for the food one, I mean, I'm not too familiar on it either, but is that, do you have to take courses then get that, or is it just something that and how long does that process take? Yeah,
so right now it's online in order to sign up for it, and then you physically have to go and take a class.
I've actually done that because I've been in the food industry as a server, and I don't know if it's the same thing, but they just make you watch these videos and then take a test after.
Yes.
And then, I mean, it's free because it's,
before it used to be physical. Right now, I'm sure it's all just online.
Yeah.
How long would you say it took you to get your return on investment? So I know you mentioned, initially you're buying all this food just to market yourself and get pictures out. So how long would you say it took you to actually get clientele, get your money back for what you've invested in licensing and marketing?
Sure. Overhead costs, I guess startup costs weren't that crazy. I want to say after a good 6 solid months, you're going to start seeing that return of investment. And you've already established your vendors, right? You know exactly where you want to buy your plates, for example, your platters. I actually have my aunt who works with wood, making my wood boards for me.
Oh, wow.
So
that helps.
Yeah, I don't purchase them from China or any other vendor. My aunt manufactures them for me.
Wow.
So that's a plus. I want to give back to her too.
Yeah.
So keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So how did you, and where do you get the, I guess, meats and the stuff? Do you just go
Sure.
to, I guess, the regular market?
No, and that's what sets me apart, right? Charcuterie stands for the meat, the cured meats that you're eating, right? And when it comes, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to cheese and meat, I'm extremely delicate, right? I like good meat and I like good cheese. So we focus on purchasing just premium meats and cheeses alone, right? So I do work with a couple of vendors. One of them is Electric City Butchery in Santa Ana. Awesome service and really good meats. And my cheeses I buy from Italy. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Italy.
Yeah.
Milk Farm. I buy my cheeses. I probably shouldn't even be mentioning where I buy them, but the point is that no, they are not from Ralph's and Vaughn's. They are not.
And I guess it helps that you were doing this for your friends and family before, because you already had an idea of where to get stuff from. And
Sure.
when you started, it was just easier to
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
get in there.
You know, and a lot of people are not familiar with charcuterie, so it's really
Yeah.
all about educating
Oh my God.
about the different, there's so many different cheeses, there's so
Yeah.
many different meats. And everybody, just like with wine, you have a palate and you may hate goat cheese and you're like raving about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
How
what
did
is
you
this?
know?
You know?
I do
you
hate
do?
it.
So that's another thing, you know, it's like there's gonna be individuals that may not like a cheese on my board, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad cheese, it's just not the cheese for you.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Okay. Before Donna goes into the next question, just to give some context, I know you mentioned it took you 6 months, but I don't think you've mentioned how long have you been doing this?
Geez, I've been doing this since February of last year, I believe.
Okay, so a little
Over a year.
almost a year and a half. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, you said you spent a little bit of time on Instagram to kind of market yourself. Is that the only platform that you use to market your business?
You know, I just to have it, I'm on Facebook as well.
Okay.
I have a lot of my older folks really love Facebook.
Oh yeah.
So, and I have gotten some traction on there, but really, a lot of the traction comes from Instagram. And I think I'm starting to see where it's like all a referral, right? Oh, a friend had a board and I really was interested in ordering with you is what I'm starting to hear now. So, yeah.
So most of your clientele is from Instagram and
Yes, also
and
social
word of
media.
mouth, right?
Okay, exactly.
Got it.
Yep.
Are you paying for marketing on Instagram or?
I am with certain posts, especially when they're around the holidays, such as Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. I do invest a couple of dollars there. Usually I don't like to go above $40-50 on a post, but that will bring me followers for sure.
I think you mentioned it earlier with your boards and your meats, but why should us or the audience watching buy your charcuterie board over someone else's? So basically, what distinguishes you?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a little bit about that earlier. What sets me apart is one, the quality of meats and cheeses that I'm bringing to your home. And there's one thing that really sets me apart, which is my salsa. And it's technically not mine, it's my cousin's. My cousin has an absolutely mouth-watering restaurant called Taco Maria in Orange County. And he makes all of his salsas from scratch. So we have 2 salsas that I like to use for my boards. And one of them is our chile morrita, who has peanuts in it.
Oh.
It's really something else. And then we have our chile ancho. It's a little more mild, but that just really, it's an experience when you, and again, charcuterie, right? Who puts jelly or honey and a salami with salsa, right?
I know, that's what I was like.
but trust me, it's an experience.
It's a game changer.
Oh yeah, and everybody's asking, well, you know, can you sell us a salsa alone? And I'm like, yeah, Taco Maria, Taco Maria can. But that's really, again, one, the quality of the meats and cheeses, as well as the really yummy salsas that we have included on the board.
Taste.
Wow.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to try some now.
For sure, anytime.
I know owning your business, that's probably a hardship in itself already, right? But what has been the hardest thing that you've had to go through just by owning your own business?
Yeah. Especially in the beginning when you're investing so much time in, again, content and really trying to offer your customers the best service as well when they're inquiring about a board, right? Trying to be really timely in responding. It's really pushed me away from my family.
Mm-hmm.
I have a full-time job, and I like to dedicate all of me to my job from 8 to 4, and then all of me in the evening to Charcuterie. But there's also a time that I have to designate to my kids, to my partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the most difficult part, but it can be done, right? That just means that I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and have breakfast ready and prepare lunch. And it's all about time management and really keeping in mind that when you are going to give, for example, my children the undivided attention that I do in the 1 hour that I might be spending with them or 2, it's got to be undivided, right? No phone, no looking at, no responding to messages, just giving them that time. So it was difficult for me to figure out in the beginning, and it was difficult for them to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're all kind of like, all right, well, Mom, I try to include them sometimes, like, to help, and that helps too. So I would say that that's been the most difficult thing.
You said you started in February of 2020, just before COVID started. Has COVID impacted your business?
You know what? In this business and in the business that I'm in, I've noticed that either the pandemic has really helped people thrive, or people have decided this is not for me, we're moving on, right? And I think that just like many years ago in history, people just had to figure it out, right? You got to change with the times. And those of us, I know, including you guys, that are working from home or trying to start a business from home, it's really just been a plus. People want to support that. People feel more connected. So I think that it was a positive for me personally. And it's been a positive for many, but unfortunately for some, it's been, hey, let's take a different direction. This isn't working out.
Yeah.
What can we expect from, I feel like I'm going to say it wrong, Charcuteria, right?
No, that's good. That's perfect.
So what can we expect from Charcuteria in the near future?
Sure.
Or further down the line, I guess,
Sure.
that you have goals or plans for it.
Sure. I've never really been to a restaurant that dedicates themselves strictly to serving charcuterie.
Okay.
And charcuterie is an experience, right? Especially when you pair it with like the perfect glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, I'd love to go from brick to mortar. I'd love to have a restaurant here in the city of Downey where people could come and enjoy the ambiance, enjoy their board along with a really nice glass of wine. So yeah,
I would enjoy that.
for sure. I mean, there's tea houses now. Why couldn't there be like a charcuterie house, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've seen some interesting restaurants, so that would not be out of the norm.
Yeah.
I feel like we need it.
I think we all
Yeah.
need a place that we can go just drink wine. Along with some charcuterie, for
Just
sure.
another excuse to drink wine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Any last advice to our viewers who might be wanting to get into the same business, or just advice in general?
Yeah, just do it. You'll figure it out later. It's really not that difficult. Surround yourself with people that are educated in starting up a business. connect. You can network online, on social media, and just again, go for it. I thought this was just going to be a creative outlet for me and a little creative space, and now it's turned into something. So I would just say, build the courage to do it, do your research, and fall on your face a couple of times, and you'll figure it out.
Awesome. I do want to thank you so much
Of
for
course, thank you.
one, giving us this opportunity to come here and interview you, and of course for sharing your inspiring story and all these great nuggets that our audience can learn from.
Sure.
And just want to give you a chance to let our audience know how they can find you, how can they get a charcuterie board from you.
Sure. So you guys can follow me on Instagram at _Charcuteria _ and on Facebook as well, same name. If you're interested in ordering or reserving a grazing table with us for an event, you can always send us a quick DM. I do have a website coming very soon, so you can all stay tuned for that.
Maybe it'll be up by the time we post this, so
Probably.
If so, all the information she did say, her page, her links, they'll all be down in the description. So do look for that if you're interested, and connect with us. If you have any other questions, then we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you.